My name is Peter Diaz. Been a musician all my life. I started off when I was about 15, I think. My parents came back from living in Borneo, and I remember the first evening when I arrived. We were living in Sophia Road, downtown, Middle Road. I arrived at the flat and we unpacked. I went straight to the balcony and there were these guys out on the streets playing guitars. And I stood there for about 3 days. Then after the fourth day, I went down to them and I said, guys, this is really amazing. Do you mind if I sit and listen? My grandmother saw that and she came to me the next day and she said to me, you really like what they're doing? You like all this guitar music? And I said, yeah, very much so. She took me downtown, bought me a $10 guitar. Then after that, went to a sort of secondary school. I could play already a few chords, I progressed and learned myself a couple of chords. And then we started a band. I started a band in school, and we went in for a talent time contest. We came in second, which is not bad.
I see the train coming down the track. I wonder if I could turn my back.
The October Cherries. It all started off with a friend of mine. I met him on the street and he came up to me and he said, look, we're doing an audition tonight, would you like to come along? So he literally dragged me to the audition with the October Cherries. I went into the October Cherries and they said to me, play a few songs, and I played a couple of songs. And can you sing? And I sang a couple of songs. Okay, thanks very much. We'll let you know. This friend of mine who was actually the drummer of the October Cherries came running after me and he said, okay, you're in. I had to fight for you. You're in. They didn't really want to have you, but I fought for you and you're in. So that's how it all started. The October Cherries did quite a number of milestones in their career. I think we were one of the first bands to record originals. And because of that, we recorded a couple and we decided to try our luck in Europe. That's how it all started. So that was another highlight. One of the first bands to actually venture out of Singapore. I'd been with the Cherries for about 9 years altogether. We are one of the first bands to record this so-called cover records. So we sang songs like songs by artists like Elton John, Rod Stewart, Neil Diamond, that kind of stuff. Four Tops. After some time, I felt that I'd done enough, and it was time for me to just sort of try something on my own.
In the stream, that is what we are. No one in between. How can we be wrong? Sail away with me to another world, and we rely on each other.
I was fortunate in some ways as well because of the October Cherries, because we were really popular in Belgium and because I went back to Belgium. But nevertheless, it was really difficult as a solo artist, It was always easier when you're with a band. There's people behind you or people by the side of you. When you're on your own, you're really on your own. You really have to do things on your own. You have to call the shots on your own. I had one of my songs placed by several artists or sung by several artists, and one of them made the charts in South Africa. When I first came back in 1998, that was, I think, there was this really tragic Silk Air crash, and that moved me so much that I wanted to do something about it, and the only way I could express myself was through music. Because of the nature of the project, I wanted to get other people involved, so I made an appeal to whoever wanted to contribute to the CD. And that's how it all started, basically. I fell in love with the guitar again. I just sort of really fell in love with this acoustic guitar again. Started writing different kinds of songs, so different style of songs. Pasir Sunday afternoon, 2:30, picked up the guitar and wrote Time to Call It a Day. From start to finish. Usually when I write songs, you sort of get like an inspiration. You get an idea like a. So you play a few chords and you get an idea. Oh, okay, that's interesting. And so you develop a song maybe from that. But with Time to Call It a Day, it was absolutely different. Picked up the guitar and just went. Had the whole song from start to finish. I sang the whole thing. And the funny thing was, that melody. So usually when you write songs, you get the inspiration. You really like to record it or put it down, write the notes down if you can write notes, and so you remember it. But with Time to Call It a Day, I had no problem. It was just in my head. It was just bursting to come out. A lot of it is personal, life story. I tend to pick up on what people say, something that really, boom, really sticks in your brain. And you go home and that's it, that phrase or that story is in your brain, and try to develop something from that. I perform on a regular basis for the last 2 years, I think now. It's 2 years at Sunset Bay restaurant out on the East Coast, at a pub down in Buona Vista. So I do a couple of private gigs, a lot of private gigs. I would like to concentrate more on writing and perhaps teaching. I've developed my own style of playing. I like to think I've developed my own style of playing, and I'd like to teach people, what I've learned, my experience, basically. That's my goal at the moment.
Suddenly